Welcome to another Watercooler Wisdom. I am so excited to have you here, and I am so excited for my next guest. Shelley is going to be such a great bit of wisdom for us today. But before we get started, for those of you who might not know me, I am Dana Zellers. I am an executive coach, facilitator, and speaker. And I work with those busy professionals who want to be successful, but also kind of want to have a life. And so I help them figure out how to do both of those things. Shelley, for those who don't know you, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Dana, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me here today. For those professionals that you work with, same here. How do you get your message out? How do you speak with clarity in times where the pressure is so intense that you can perhaps forget what you're supposed to say? So my work as a leadership development consultant in communications is to help you get that message out as powerfully as possible.
I love that. And one of the places where we have a message to get out is we're in meetings really a lot of the time. And we're not always the focus of the meeting. We're not always the speaker in the meeting. And sometimes we feel like we're a little bit eavesdropping on what is happening in the meeting that we are attending. I would love to hear your thoughts on how we can shift that and actually make ourselves communicate better, be more powerful, have a place. What would you think about that?
Well, this is something that so many, believe it or not, so many of my clients come to me about. I'm asked to sit in a meeting, just participate, just listen, and I feel like a fly on the wall. It feels really awkward. It's uncomfortable. What do I do? And I get it, because we don't want to be in more meetings, but if we're in them, we want to be part of it. And so a great tool that I have found that works are speaking prompts. Speaking prompts are the cues to better communication. They literally could take a conversation and break up that awkward connection point. It makes it seamless going from one idea to another. Or in this example, you're sitting in the room,
Yep.
the person's speaking, and everybody's looking like, why is Shelley here? Who invited her to this party? And so the speaking prompt I'll share with you is acknowledging, saying, Dana, that was a really interesting point you brought up about how can I possibly communicate better in a high stress situation. I would love to add something to that. So that's one version of it. And you can do many different types of avenues about that. Oh, Dana, adding on to what you just said, because that was just words of wisdom, and I will never forget that. Have you thought about X, Y, and Z? So this is the cue that's flowing one idea to another. And that way you're interjecting, you're adding to it, and people understand why you're there. You're not taking over the conversation.
Right.
You're just letting people know you're there, you're interested, and you want to add in. It's a great way to not, like I said, interrupt the speaker and take over the situation, but give us a reason. And it calms the awkwardness. Oh, I get it. I get why Shelley's here. She's here to contribute and add this idea.
Yeah. I love that, because there's a couple things that you noted. So one is you were invited to the meeting. So, there is a reason why your participation is there. There's some context to the situation you have. There is a point of view that people are hoping to bring to it. But so how do you naturally sort of interject as that conversation is going? And that sort of two-part formula where we're sort of acknowledging and appreciating. So we're calling out a point that we think is relevant. We're giving credit to the person who's sharing that. And then we're taking it upon ourselves to just add a little bit of our personal expertise and our personal flavor.
Dana, this may totally be off topic, but it would really make an impact in this conversation if I added a nugget of value by saying, acknowledging you makes you feel heard.
Yes.
And hey, we all want to be heard.
Yeah.
So you see what I just did there?
Yeah.
I used the prompt, I acknowledged, right? Okay. And I added value.
I love it. I love it, because you're right. We do want that acknowledgement. We want to feel heard. But it also gives that opportunity to call out the points that are in fact resonating with us. So something is being said that we think is important. So we're not manufacturing that. We're actually looking for those moments where there's something being said that we think is valuable, and we want to make sure that we're drawing everyone's attention to that in the room, because it's something that we've decided is relevant to start with.
And it's good communication,
Mm-hmm.
because you could also say to the point, Dana, I really am trying to understand what you're saying. I know there's value into this because it's going to help me be a better communicator in future meetings. But tell me, I'm not sure I understand the part about the transition statement.
Yeah.
So what you've also done is help the speaker
Mm-hmm.
clarify something before going through the whole presentation and having people just glaring out or
Yeah.
losing interest. You're constantly engaging with what's happening without distracting from the topic at hand.
Yeah. Questions, you're right, are such a great way to, one, call out anything that, again, might be confusing. There might be a moment, there might be perspective that you're not sure that person is taking into account from your point of view. And so before you interject, for example, all the reasons why what they're saying is not going to work, um, you can ask a question and say, have you considered this point of view? How would you approach this type of circumstance? I love that approach because, again, it's disarming in the way that you're sort of adding the question or even your own point of view as to something that might be a little dicey.
It takes the awkwardness out of the room,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody in the room, or most likely most of the people in the
Yeah.
room, are going, hey, yeah, me too, I was thinking that, but I didn't raise my hand and say that. I mean, honestly, how many times have you been that person? And when the person does speak out, you're like, oh, relief, I don't have to sit here and Google, text under my table and try to figure out what acronym they're talking about or what they mean by this. And
Mm-hmm.
we just assume everybody knows everything. So again, good communications is about that clarity from the beginning, and not losing your audience when you
Yeah.
spend so much time.
Yeah. What I really love about this is all of these options to interject are really adding value to the contributor. So again, it's not in an awkward way, but you're stepping in and you're having those moments where, again, now people are understanding why you're part of the conversation. They're appreciating your point of view, and you're doing it in a way that is so tactful, that it's enhancing the conversation. It's not drawing away from the conversation.
100%. It's making those transitions more cohesive. It's taking away the awkwardness. It's enhancing the conversation, contributing, participating. And isn't that what work is all about? It's a collaborative effort. And then again, it takes away the awkwardness. And it may bring up an opportunity for a follow-up, that you
Mm-hmm.
become recognized in the room as this person who has this awareness that could lead to other opportunities.
Yeah, I love that. Again, I think if you're in a meeting, let's take this opportunity to have a valuable contribution. And it is so easy to feel uncomfortable in those circumstances. So just trying out one of these amazing techniques, I think, is going to get you in a position where you're going to start to feel more and more comfortable using them moving forward in different conversations.
Absolutely. And I have a whole series of speaking prompts that I talk about through my framework, which, calls to action, how to introduce yourself, what if you don't know the answer? Again, speaking prompts are these powerful cues that totally help us communicate better and help you stay on point, for sure.
I love those. And Shelley, I know we do not have time to cover all of those today, but I know people will want to hear more about those. What is the best way for people to follow up and get a hold of you and learn more?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, Shelley Goldstein at LinkedIn, but also you can go to book.remarkablespeaking.com. My book has the entire framework in it, and there's other links to connect with me as well. And join the conversation. Ask me a question. Yeah.
Wonderful. So we have Shelley's link tree here, so you can get a hold of her there. Please take advantage of this QR code and do more. Shelley, of course, is great on social as well. She's always dropping some tips and nuggets. So make sure you are following her and learning more about that book, which again is going to have her full framework. for those of you who are wanting to take more control of your week and make sure that you are doing all of the things that you think are productive, Shelley and I were just having a little chat before this about our schedules and making them most effective. So you can grab a copy of my free Better Week Blueprint, which is going to make your weeks more successful and, in fact, give you more time. For those of you who have tuned in and have said, hey, this is an expert I want to hear more of, and I want to hear more from people like her, please come back for my next Water Cooler Wisdom. I'm going to have more great experts, just like Shelley, with more relevant questions that you will want to hear the answers to. Shelley, thank you so much for taking the time and joining me and our audience today.
Dana, this was an action-packed golden nugget 10 minutes, and I'm going to download your blueprint. I think I can use that as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you all, and we will see you at our next